Hello everyone and welcome to Bizarre Podcast. On today's show we will be introducing the new Bizarre News episodes. This gives me the chance to bring you all the bizarre news topics from around the world that don't necessarily need a full fleshed out episode of their own, but still deserve a mention. I'd love to hear what you think. You can contact me through the new Bizarre Podcast website or by our ever-growing Facebook group. I'll include the links in the show notes.
To Bizarre Podcast.
And the first story today comes from The Express. Alien UFOs filmed flying over the moon in shock video footage. 2 otherworldly UFOs were filmed zipping across the moon, once and for all proving ancient aliens are monitoring the Earth. A popular UFO hunter has shockingly claimed. The supposed UFO sighting was shared online by conspiracy theorist Scott C. Waring, who runs the blog UFO Sightings Daily. The UFO hunter claimed the video shows 2 diamond-shaped objects dashing across the moon in a military-style formation. Mr. Waring said the video is 100% proof aliens are actively using the moon as a reconnaissance outpost and permanent base. The conspiracist argued there is likely much alien activity taking place on the dark side of the moon. The UFO expert said a person in Turkey was observing the moon through the telescope and was lucky enough to catch a great shot of not 1, but 2 UFOs flying low over the moon's surface. Yes, I said that right. This object is actually 2 UFOs flying side by side like a military wingman for USAF fighter jets. Both objects are diamond shaped, yet one is twice the size of the other. If these were meteors, they would be leaving a trail of debris behind. But there is no way they could be perfect diamonds flying side by side. Now I wonder, if the eyewitness caught this while observing for a half hour, then how often does this occur on the moon daily? Mr. Waring estimated that there could be anywhere up to 48 such UFOs flying around the moon over a period of 24 hours. He said, "That's a lot on only the side that we can see. Imagine it's much more on the side we cannot see." And if you thought that story was out of this world, here's another story covered by The Express, featuring the same UFO hunter. The title, Elon Musk urged to recover crashed alien spaceship on the moon. A famous UFO hunter has called on SpaceX founder Elon Musk to recover a crashed UFO from the surface of the moon and learn its alien technologies. UFO hunter Scott C. Waring claims to have found a 10-mile long spaceship in the moon's Waterman crater. The alien spacecraft, in his opinion, could contain a treasure trove of information and secret technologies. Mr. Waring, who runs the conspiracy blog UFO Sightings Daily, contacted Mr. Musk to consider recovering the spacecraft. He said, "I tweeted Elon Musk and was surprised at all the retweets people gave it. Apparently there are a lot of people who think it's a good idea for Musk to look into it. I felt like maybe I should let Elon Musk know about the 10-mile foot long alien ships that I found. This particular craft is in the Waterman crater on Earth's moon. I thought that if I let him know that such a high-tech ship with a length of about 10 to 11 miles long existed, that perhaps he may have taken interest in salvaging it." Mr. Waring argued the recovery of the UFO could boost humanity's desire to colonise worlds within the solar system and beyond. The UFO expert theorised that alien spaceship could still be working or may have been abandoned by its owners. He said, "What I mean by working is that you know our phone gets outdated in a few years, so you toss it aside. Well, this may only have been replaced with a newer model. Think about how many people a 10-mile ship could accommodate on it. It would be enough to begin new colonies on other planets." In a tweet directed at Mr. Musk and his electric car company Tesla, Mr. Waring encouraged the South African billionaire to think of the technology on board. He said, "Get this ship, and it will take humans across the universe." The alien expert then said slapping a Tesla logo on the alleged spaceship would change the whole planet. Mr. Waring's incredible UFO claims come after his supposed discovery of an alien base on the moon. That's the article we've just discussed. Whether or not Mr. Waring's bizarre UFO claims are true, Mr. Musk's rocket company SpaceX is bound for the moon in the near future. SpaceX is expected to fly Japanese art collector and billionaire Yusaku Maezawa on his first-of-its-kind round trips around the moon in 2023. The private journey past the moon and back will fund SpaceX's future deep space exploration missions. Mr. Musk is currently focused on safely sending US astronauts to the International Space Station. has not responded publicly to Mr. Waring's tweet. And our next story. Doomsday Date revealed. Leonardo da Vinci predicted apocalypse on this day. Leonardo da Vinci's prediction of an impending apocalypse has finally been cracked following new analysis of his Last Supper masterpiece. Italian polymath Leonardo da Vinci is considered to be one of the world's greatest geniuses. The 15th century Italian's artwork is revered for its beauty and anatomical perfection, with this reflected in the 700 million value of his best known work, the Mona Lisa. However, it is another of Da Vinci's masterpieces that has recently attracted attention due to an apocalyptic message reportedly decrypted from the masterpiece. Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper, depicting the final few meal Jesus Christ shared with his apostles, is known the world over and is believed to be the most reproduced religious painting ever. The tale of the Last Supper is famously depicted in the Bible's Gospel of John 1321. The poignant scene shows the apostles reacting to Jesus announcing how one of them would betray him. But new analysis has now revealed a second more sinister message in the painting. The Last Supper, in fact, documents the exact date the world will end. A Vatican researcher has advised that the apocalypse will arrive on November the 1st, 4006, following a careful analysis of the painting. Sabrina Frozia Galizia, and I'm sorry if I massacred that name, described how central half-moon window above the Christian icon contains a mathematical and astrological puzzle, which she has deciphered. The Italian art expert claims that Da Vinci predicted Doomsday would occur and the universal flood beginning on March the 21st, 4006, and ending on November the 1st the same year. Documents showed he believed that this would mark a new start for humanity. There is a Da Vinci Code. It is just not the one made popular by Dan Brown, she said. It is said that Da Vinci had always seen the story of humanity as leading to the sum of all things, the final reckoning, described in the Book of Revelations. The Renaissance artist was also influenced by great thinkers such as philosophers Aristotle and Plato. Da Vinci being a scientist and a man of faith, who had lived in difficult times and had hidden his messages so as not to be attacked. Da Vinci began working on the Last Supper in 1495 and finished the masterpiece in 1498. Life after death. Man was engulfed in peace and love after drowning. A man who temporarily died due to drowning saw his body submerged in the water before being engulfed in a blissful experience. The person who gives his name as simply John was out swimming with his friends in a lake when his girlfriend began struggling in the water. While trying to save his partner, the man stayed underwater for too long and ultimately inhaled some of the water when he could no longer hold his breath. After he breathed in the water, John believes he slipped into the other side. John said he saw a light, clearly of mystical or otherworldly origin, and left his body. He said the next thing he knew, it was like a pop, and I was out of my body. I was slowly rising up in the air. I looked down and saw the back of my body. I remember being engulfed in a peace and love. I can only describe this feeling by comparison. Imagine the best day you've ever had, and multiply it by 1 billion, and that doesn't even come close to the feeling I felt. I had my consciousness with me, and all the knowledge that I had acquired in my life. I don't know how I knew this, but I knew. I didn't feel any pain. I just knew that this was home, and we're just on a journey to enlighten our souls, so we can reach the next levels of evolution of our souls. Thankfully, the paramedics arrived in time, and John says there was a pop, and he was back in his body. Some researchers state that these visions are normal, and not necessarily a sign of the afterlife. Dr. Sam Parney, a director of critical care and resuscitation research at the NYU Langone School of Medicine in New York City, told a recent Oz Talk, "People describe a sensation of bright, warm, welcoming light that draws people towards it. They describe a sensation of experiencing their deceased relatives, almost as if they have come to welcome them. They often say that they didn't want to come back. In many cases, it is so comfortable that it's like a magnet that draws them. A lot of people describe a sensation of separating from themselves and watching doctors and nurses working on them." Dr. Parnier says there are scientific explanations for the reaction, and says seeing people is not evidence of the afterlife, but more likely the brain just scanning itself as a survival technique. The next story comes from the unexplainedmysteries.com. Woman sues after being sucked into a grave. Joanne Cullen had been visiting her parents' grave in Long Island when the ground swallowed her up. The 64-year-old, who is from North Belmore, had bent down to fix a bow on a reef at the headstone when a sinkhole opened up beneath her, causing her to sink into the ground up to her waist. As the hole opened, she also fell forward, hitting her head on the tombstone and cracking a tooth. She recalls crying out for help, however there was no one around to assist. According to her lawyer, Cullen became an emotional wreck after the incident and now suffers from nightmares and headaches as well as a fear of walking through open fields. Getting sucked into your parents' grave when you go to visit them on a cool December afternoon with the sun going down is terrifying and traumatising, he said. The St. Charles Resurrection Cemetery has since been sued for a whopping $5 million, and it is believed that the sinkhole opened up due to an issue with how an adjacent grave was filled in. The next story is also from the unexplainedmysteries.com. Thrift store warns buyers of haunted furniture. A thrift store in North Carolina recently posted up a warning notice about a bedroom suite's haunted past. Habitat for Humanity Rowan Country's Restore made a point to inform potential buyers that a handcrafted two-piece bedroom suite that it was selling had rather a sinister reputation. Please note, the warning reads, previous owner reports that the high boy is haunted. He reports continuous nightmares for he and his wife while it was in their room. He also reports that the dogs will not start barking at it. The warning didn't seem to do much to deter interest, however, as store director of operations Elizabeth Brady later reported that 2 regular customers had purchased the furniture for the full asking price. While the notice had intrigued them, it seemed that they did not actually believe that the items were haunted, and they decided to make the purchase. How they got on with the new acquisitions after bringing them home, however, remains unclear. And finally, the Momo Challenge is a hoax. Charities claim sick suicide game is a myth. The Momo Challenge has sparked anger across the UK, with parents left terrified over fears their children will be targeted. But experts and charities say the sick game is all a malicious hoax. Experts insist that the dangers of the game is a myth, that it is perpetuated into being some kind of reality, after schools warned parents that the dangerous online suicide game being spliced into YouTube videos for Fortnite and Peppa Pig. YouTube denies the Momo Challenge had appeared in any of its YouTube Kids videos after claims the footage encourages children to harm themselves or others. And now NSPCC has said that there is no verified evidence in the UK to link Momo to suicide, or that the game possesses a threat to British children. Meanwhile, Will Francis, technology, digital and social media expert, said it would be impossible for a malicious person to infect Momo into the videos like Peppa Pig and Fortnite. He told express.co.uk, intercepting existing legitimate content is impossible. The social media expert said there was no evidence of Momo appearing in the YouTube videos, and no one is able to find evidence of kids harming themselves because of Momo, or even receiving it themselves. But hopefully, parents will now pay more attention to what their kids are doing on the YouTube app. YouTube released a statement on Wednesday saying it had not received any links to videos showing or promoting the Momo Challenge on YouTube. In a statement, a YouTube spokeswoman told the express.co.uk, contrary to press reports, we have not received any link to videos showing or promoting the Momo Challenge on YouTube. Content of this kind would be in violation of our policies and removed immediately. A Samaritan spokesman said the hysteria surrounding the Momo Challenge had created panic. He said, these stories being highly publicised and starting a panic means vulnerable people get to know about it and creates a risk. Currently, we're not aware of any verified evidence in the country or beyond linking Momo to suicide, and what's more important is parents and people who work with children concentrate on broad online safety guidelines. Kat Tremlett, harmful content manager at the UK Safer Internet Centre, told The Guardian, even though it's done the best intentions, publicising the issue has only piqued curiosity among young people. It's a myth that is perpetuated into being some kind of reality. The intervention comes after schools